ekatma dvaite dhari. Radha Krishna ekatma dvaite dhari. Radha Krishna, Radha and Krishna, Eka, one, Atma, self, two, Deha, body, Dhari, aspect, Anyane, one another, Vilase, enjoy, Rasa, middles of love, Aswadana Kari, tasty, conscious and purpose by Radha and Krishna are one and the same, but they are assumed two bodies. Thus they enjoy each other, tasting the mellows of love.
ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं, ये जूम हो जाएगा.
The two transcendentalists, Radha and Krishna, are a puzzle materialists. About description of Radha and Krishna on the diary of Srila Swarup Damodar Goswami is a condensed explanation, but one needs great spiritual insight to understand the mystery of these two personalities. One is enjoying in truth. Sri Krishna is the potent factor and Srimati Radha Rani is the internal potency. According to the Vedanta philosophy, there is no difference between the potent and the potency. They are identical. We cannot differentiate between one and the other any more than we can separate fire from heat. Everything in absolute is inconceivable in relative existence. Therefore, in relative cognizance, it is difficult to assimilate this truth of oneness between potent and potency. Philosophy of inconceivable oneness and difference, propounded by Lord Chaitanya, is the only source of understanding of such intricacies of transcendence. In fact, Radha Rani is the internal potency of Sri Krishna, and she eternally manifests the pleasure of Sri Krishna. Impersonalists cannot understand this without the help of Mahabharata devotee. The very name Radha suggests that Srimati Radharani is eternally topmost mistress of the comforts of Sri Krishna. As such, she is the medium transmitting the living entity's service to Sri Krishna. Devotees in Vrindavan therefore seek the mercy of Sri Radharani in order to be recognized as loving servitor of Sri Krishna. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally approaches the fallen conditioned souls of Iron Age to deliver the highest principle of transcendental relationship with the Lord. The activities of Lord Chaitanya are primarily in the role of pleasure being portion of his internal potency. The absolute personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is the omnipotent form of transcendence, transcendental existence, knowledge and bliss in full. His internal potency is exhibited first as Sat or existence, or in other words, as the portion of that expands the existence function of the Lord. When the same potency displays the full knowledge, it is called Chit or Samvit, which expands the transcendental form of the Lord. Finally, when the same potency plays as a pleasure-giving medium, it is called as Radha Rani or transcendental blissful potency. Thus the Lord manifests his internal potency in three transcendental divisions. Hare Krishna. Today is a very important festival. Hindi बोलना है इंग्लिश में? Which language? Translate कर सकते कोई भी? So this festival is very very important for Gaudiya Vaishnavas, for everyone, but because others are not understanding the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, not everybody understands what the Shastras are talking about, the topmost realm of Kula Vrindavan. So by mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and our Acharyas, we have been given access to the highest realm of the God's creation or existence. Krishna, who is the source of everything. Aham sarvasya prabhava matya sarvam prabhakati. In Bhagavad Krishna says that. Everything is emanating from him. He is the cause of all the causes, ultimate cause. Brahmaji says in Brahma Samhita, Sarva Karana Karana, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigra, Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. And Gita Krishna also says Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, that he is the controller of all the planetary systems, all the planets, including material world and spiritual world. Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. So the Supreme Lord Krishna, he says that he never leaves Vrindavan. He is always in Vrindavan. And how he comes to his material world, that is also mystery. He said he expands himself as Vasudeva Krishna. Then he goes out of Vrindavan to perform his other lilas. But he comes to this material world, Vrindavan gets manifested here also. And Krishna becomes manifested here. So he actually never leaves Vrindavan, he is always in Vrindavan. And Vrindavan means it's the place of Radha Rani, Vrindavan Ishwari. She is the controller, Ishwari of the Vrindavan. And as mentioned here that Radha Krishna Eka Atma Dui Devadari. So there is no difference between, in that sense, Radha and Krishna. It's Ek Atma, one soul, two bodies. And Srila Prabhupada is saying that it's a great mystery for materialistic people, for everyone who is in conditioned state, difficult to conceive this spiritual realm. Simultaneously one and different. Achintya Veda Veda. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. Potency and potent. Shakti and Shaktiman. They are simultaneously one and different. Just like the fire and the heat. Heat is the Shakti of the fire. You cannot separate. Sugar and the sweetness. You cannot say this is sweetness and this is sugar. So it's inbuilt characteristics. So similarly, Krishna and Srimati Radha Rani, Krishna is the Shaktiman, potent factor. Srimati Radha Rani is potency. So they are inseparable in that sense. So internal potency of the Lord, here Sri Prabhupada is saying that is Samvit, Sandhini and Ladini, Satchit Anand. Sat feature is the feature of existence. It expands the existence of the Lord. Eternal existence. In the material realm, our situation is that we also are eternal, but because of identity with matter, our situation is that we exist for some time, then we die. The body dies. The body has, anything material has no such feature as Sat. It's always changing. So because of identity with the matter, we undergo that experience of Asat. So the matter has the nature of Asat. We are also Sat, eternal, because we are part and parcels of Krishna. Every living entity, Mameva Amshi Jiva Loki Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. We are Amshas of the Lord, Sanatana, eternally separated, Vivinna Amshas. And our nature is also to serve. Jivere Swarupa Hai, Krishna Nityadas. And Krishna, he expands himself as Srimati Radha Rani. She is also servitor of Krishna. Shakti and Shaktiman. Shakti is, she is always engaged in the service of the Lord. So, Alladhini Shakti. Satchit Ananda. Chit means full of knowledge. Prabhupada is saying that the Chit potency, that is called Samvit Sandhini. Sandhini potency or Chit potency is expands the form of the Lord. So by this potency the Lord knows everything in His creation. Every nook and corner. It's like our ability to know is we can know little bit about ourselves, our body, our surroundings, we can know to some extent. But Krishna has this potency in unlimited form. Like he knows everything in His creation. Chit, Shakti. And Alladini Shakti is Ananda, nature. So this is pleasure giving potency. So this internal potency is divided into three parts. And Srimati Radharani is that internal, this Alladini Shakti. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikrutir Alladini Shakti Asma. You can go this where it comes. Let's before this later. Radha Krishna, the sloka before 55. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikrutir Alladini Shakti Rasmat Ekatmana Api Bhuvi Para Deha Bhedam Gato Tau Chaitanyakhyam Prakatam Aduna Tat Dvayam Chaikyam Aptam Radha Bhavaditi Suvilatam Nomi Krishna Swarupam. The loving affairs of Sri Radha and Krishna are transcendental manifestation of Lord's internal pleasure giving potency. Although Radha and Krishna are one in their identity, previously they separated themselves. Now these two transcendental identities have again united in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. I bow down to him who has manifested himself with the sentiment and complexion of Srimati Radha Rani, although he is Krishna himself. So, unless we become purified completely in our heart, really appreciate all these things, understand, it's not possible in a conditioned state. Especially when our minds are affected by greed, envy, pride, lust, anger, illusion. It is very difficult to understand these transcendental affairs of the pastimes of Krishna. Because we, being long in this material world, are accustomed to see only relationship between boy and girl or man and woman in the form of lust. That's what we see. So we cannot understand that how pure love in the spiritual world, how they act based on pure love, Radha and Krishna. That's why most people, when they talk about Radha and Krishna, they think that they are ordinary affairs between boy and girl. Because the material world is perverted reflection of this original spiritual existence, people see everything in that, with that perception. So therefore, we should be very careful about not to just jump into this. Srila Prabhupada, I was yesterday reading his Radha Ashtami lectures. Most of the lectures Prabhupada is not talking anything about Radha Ashtami. And then towards the end is saying about it. He is talking about the basic philosophy. First you get purified. Vitaraga bhaya krodha manmaya mampa ashrita. That shloka I was speaking in London, 1973. Most 75% lecture is talking about how it is important to purify your heart. Vitaraga bhaya krodha manmaya mampa ashrita. What is the next sloka? Next part. Putamat bhava magata. Puta means the purified. He says that those who have taken shelter of me and by tapasya, they have been purified. Then they can actually come to Krishna. They can understand. Puta means the purification. And Srila Prabhupada was quoting that the human form of life is meant for purification of the heart. That is the most important purpose of human form of life. And how one becomes purified? By tapasya. Transcendental tapasya. Rishabdev Maharaj tells to his 100 sons, his incarnation of the Supreme Lord was ruling the whole planet Earth at a certain time. And when he was retiring, then he handed over his kingdom to his eldest son, Bharat, because of whom this place is known as Bharat. He had such powerful children, and they were very exalted. He was instructing them as a father, ideal father. The first shloka I say this: my dear children, the human life is not meant for sense gratification. Nayam deho deha bhajam nruloke. Prabhupada was putting these shlokas. Nayam deho deha bhajam nruloke kashtan kaman arhate vidabhujami. Human life is not meant for hard work, kashta. Kashtan kaman. Kaman means to fulfill lust, desire, material desires. Nayam deho deha bhajam nruloke. Nruloke means human body. He is not meant for that. Although at conditions set our senses are demanding so much, always, they are never satisfied. But the solution for that is not to gratify senses. That is very difficult to understand. And even most of the so-called spiritual organization don't talk about this. They just talk about how to make your sense gratification better. All these yoga societies and this is how to perform yoga so that you can get energy to gratify your senses. One of the Srila Prabhupada disciples was talking that he said, I also went to many places. This is the only place I understood that the cause of problem is sense gratification. Nobody talks about it. Practically said. One of the Srila Prabhupada's very senior disciple, very scholarly, was telling this. I had approached so many organizations. Nobody spoke about it. So Prabhupada, Rishabdev Maharaj is saying that, my dear children, human life is not meant for this gratifying senses. Although some gratification is required to maintain body and soul together, but to increase that, that's not the goal of life. Because this kind of the consciousness the modern man is having, all the efforts are simply to increase sense gratification. All competition. Prabhupada said it is like increasing the fever, unhealthy state. Unhealthy state of one's body. So they are competing how much fever I am getting. He has more fever than me. I have to work very hard to get more fever. Srila Prabhupada gives an example of one doctor came to one house where mother-in-law and daughter-in-law were sick, having the fever. So he checked first daughter-in-law and then he went to mother-in-law. So mother-in-law asked, how much fever I have? She said, you have 100. How much she has? She said, 102. She became very angry. How can she have something more than me? He check again. She cannot have anything more than me. Srila Prabhupada said, this is what modern society is. You see somebody is advancing more on gratification, he becomes envious. How can he have more? Let me also work very hard. All these fights you can see, I see these placements. How much package he has. How much people get so much envious and they keep on working very hard. They don't know what is the goal of life. Simply trying to gratify their senses and waste their energy. That's why more one does this sense gratification, his head becomes very dull. He cannot understand spiritual subject matters. They may be going on with great scholars or great academics or great, whatever is their positions are in material circle. They can manipulate matter with their material intelligence, but they don't have a basic understanding of spiritual life. Srila Prabhupada I was here reading this lecture in MIT. This Prabhupada quoted in many places, one lecture in MIT. I said, I went and challenged him. Do you have any department, technology, to bring out the dead body into the life? What is the difference between dead body and living body? Do we have any department to revive that back, put some chemicals and bring the body back? Srila Prabhupada said, we are having technology, spiritual technology we are giving. Where there is no technology in all the departments talking about even intellectual technology, Prabhupada said. Actual intelligence, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. They are at most talking about the body, senses, and maximum mind, Prabhupada said. So mind technology you have, but where is the technology of intelligence to control the mind? This intelligence, what they are having is not intelligence. It is actually material ability to do some manipulations. So real intelligence means you should be able to control the mind and senses. That is the function of intelligence. Not simply manipulate the matter and be controlled by the mind and senses. You can see recent times, last 6-7 months, 4 boys committing suicide here. If they are very intellectual, why they are being manipulated by the mind and senses. That means there is not intelligence. Avruttam jnanametina jnaninas nitya vairina. Actual intelligence is lost by their oversense gratification. Srila Prabhupada was saying that this technology is not helping only if you are following this. Then he gave example in Bengal. They have they speak about this story. What is story? Once one boatman, one boy who was a Prabhupada said, student of technology. Prabhupada we use these words in the MIT college. There was a student of technology and he had to cross one river and he saw the boatman. So he sat in the boat and he was very proud of his technological knowledge. So he asked his boatman, do you know about stars, astronomy, science of stars, how many stars, how they are, where? We are poor, illiterate boatmen. How will you know about it? Sir, don't know. Your 25% life is waste. The boatman was going. And then he said, do you know about botany? How these plants, how they are classified, everything. Do you know about it? We are simple boatmen. How we can know about all these things in detail? We know the plants are there, but what this science you are talking about, we don't know about it. We don't know about it. 50% life is gone. So like that he was asking him something and he said, I don't know anything. And then he said, your 75% of life is gone. And then suddenly what happened? There was a clouds in the sky and everything became dark and wind started flowing and the boat started toppling. The boatman asked, sir, do you know swimming? He said, I don't know the swimming. He said, 100% life is gone. And the boat toppled after that. This is the situation. We may go on having so much knowledge, and we don't know the basic knowledge for ourselves, that we are not body, we are spirit, soul. And therefore we are undergoing this horrible experience of death every time. 100% life is gone without this knowledge. So unless we understand these subject matters and realize them, not only theoretically understand them. So that is a goal of human life, to basic goal. Understand this. Nayam deho deho majandur loke kashtan kaman. That's working so hard, so much competition, because in the society everybody is talking about those things that people don't even use their intelligence. That what I am doing, there is no assurance of anything, anytime, everything can be taken away from us. We have so many examples, we are seeing it. Recent time this flight crash happened. The pilot came to know about 20 seconds before it happened. You see. Pilot came to know about it. That means inside passenger, they never came to know about it. They just crashed on it. And there was a chief minister sitting outside. Such a big man. Before his death, even 20 seconds before he didn't come to know about it. John Kennedy, the President of America, going on a procession, surrounded by the army, parade. He was also not knowing that. Just a bullet came, finished. Right into his head. People are wanting to go and settle in America. So the top man of America, they could not protect. Not even a notice of seconds. And still everybody is wondering, blind. They don't even think about it. Yesterday I was asking, if anybody is told, now you tomorrow go to the Bombay. I was talking to the faculty last time. Tomorrow you have to go by Gitanjali Express to Bombay. First of all, tomorrow, such a short notice. Okay, is the ticket booked? No. Ticket is not booked. Go and sit anywhere in the general bogie. And where I am going to stay there, that is also not sure. That we will see after we reach there. You will get disturbed. Nobody will want to go. Because when you are traveling, you need proper arrangements. Staying, fooding, traveling. What after death? Actually, we are reading after death, those who are yogis, how they are escorted from one place to another, according to Chandogya Upanishad. The soul is taken, 12 different agents, they carry him, those who can go to the out of this material world. There is a demigod controlling the, what is this?
Light.
The first day, light, then the ear, and then the, whatever the different demigods in charges, lightning, fire, water, and finally Brahma, and then they come the Vishnu Dutas and they take escort them. Noble soul, yogis. But those who are not doing anything about spiritual life, who escort them? Who takes them? They are not aware, but who are Yamdutas, very ferocious, ugly. They take them. So now this is not known, people are just, they don't want to think about after death. They are so busy in preparing something what they don't have any assurance. And they have no preparation what is assured 100%. Is as sure as death. So that what is sure, there are no preparation for it. Probably because of that it's sure there is no need of preparation. Death is sure, but after that nothing is sure. What is going to happen next? How they will be going on. And such is the power of Maya. Everybody is just competing. Kashtan, Kaman. Working hard, competing with each other. But there is no endeavors made in the spiritual path. And because of this competitive mentality, even if you sit down and chant, devotees, their mind cannot focus on chanting. Because their minds are revolving on those things, moving. Spiritual practice also becomes very superficial, this mechanical or ritualistic. Anybody can just understand actual realities. You cannot just, mechanically chant. It's very serious. The Parishad Maharaj was so serious, sitting down and hearing. 7 days, 7 nights, without eating, sleeping, drinking also. Because 7 days are there. At least he had 7 days assured. We don't have the 7 seconds or whatever is assured also. So he says that tapo divyam, human life is this kashtan kaman, that is facilities available even for hawks and dogs also. There are better facilities available. Personal gratification. And they are happy, you can see they are peaceful. That's why they become very fat. So they just eat, have sex life and sleep. Hogs you can see. They don't have much anxieties also, that they have to work and save the money or bank balance. And then they have everything available. So he said that Vida Puja means those are 2 liters. This pleasure is available in abundance in their lives, for which you are working hard. Why you work hard so much? If you have to work hard, he says, then they work hard for purification of the heart. Tapo divyam putra kayana sattvam. Tapo divyam, the transcendental austerity, not like Hiranyakashipu austerity. Karmis are also doing austerities. Morning 4 o'clock, I was working in Bombay, I saw 4 o'clock. When I used to come for Mangalarti, they were also full. The whole trains are full. They are distributing newspapers, some milk, so many things they are doing in the morning. Working hard, but for what? Kashtan kaman. Human life should be, we should work hard to purify our existence. We should be busy always in serving Krishna. Whatever is required to maintain our bodies and our families, then we need to do it. But what is the use of competing with these people? Sometimes devotees, we should also show that how we are. What is the use of showing that? We are also better materialistic. There is no need to show. Wasting time. Actually, because we are also driven by mode of passion and ignorance, we want to compete with. If you are in Sattva-guna, you will laugh at them. They are working so hard like asses. Unnecessary. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that this material education has made and it makes a person into an ass. He said, Jada Vidya, Jara Mayara Vaibhav, Tomara Bhajane Bada. Jada Vidya means this materialistic knowledge is actually an obstacle in one's worship to Krishna. Although Bhaktivinoda Thakur himself was very educated, he was district magistrate. But he was not working hard like that. He used to work. Naturally he got it. 2 hours he used to work in the morning, 2 hours, even as a district magistrate. You see his schedule, I was reading it. He used to go at 11 o'clock, come back at 1 o'clock to the court. And then again take rest and then go in 4 o'clock and come back at 6 o'clock. 7 o'clock he used to sleep. 7:30. And then whole night he used to write books. 10 o'clock he used to get up and 10 to 4 he was writing books. He wrote more than 150 books, something like that. And his son was saying this, he was scheduled in the district magistrate in Puri. So he did it because Krishna had given him that intelligence naturally. But he understood this nature of this material education, what these Britishers have introduced. It is actually, it's a Maya's creation. Vaibhava, Maya Vaibhava. Tomara Bhajane Bala. So whatever capacity we have, we can endeavor. But our real endeavors should be to make progress in spiritual life. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur spent so much time into his own sadhana. 4 o'clock he used to just wash his, he used to take 20-minute rest, half an hour, and then start chanting. And then he used to read. Then he used to meet the people, Krishna consciousness. So like that his schedule was. Now today's world, everything, they are making people work so hard. Previously in Vedic culture it was not like that. And competition for what? To get more money, more marks. So unless we come to the mode of goodness, it's very difficult to come out of this competition. We are also driven by greed and envy and lust. For said spiritual life, devotees should try to come to the mode of goodness by association of proper devotees, by reading scriptures, by chanting sincerely. And endeavor as much as we have capacity come by Krishna, and as much as we need, not out of greed. Greed has no end. One can never be satisfied, no matter even if you get the whole world. So tapo divyam putra gayana sattvam. Sattvam means goodness. By doing transcendental austerity, you come to the mode of goodness. And mode of goodness means you can see the things clearly. You can see how the people are acting in the mode of ignorance and passion, just running around unnecessarily. You are active. Sattva-guna is very active. You can see clearly things. In Rajaguna and Tamoguna, you cannot see the things. One becomes blind. Just like intoxicated man, he cannot see things properly. There are intoxications. Tapodivyam putra kayana sattvam yasmat shuddhet. And like this one should become purified. Yasmat shuddhet. Then you can get Brahma Saukhyam, transcendental happiness. What soul is looking for. In passion and ignorance, this so-called happiness is only the illusion. It's not happiness. It's simply senses gratification, gives some temporary sense of pleasure. But real happiness, what we are looking for, will come when you come to the mode of material happiness also, at least goodness. And then transcendental goodness, you can actually enjoy the happiness of the devotional service. Soul is longing for it. Yasmat Shuddhet. Shuddhet means purification. Purification of the mind from all these anarthas, envy, greed, lust, anger, pride. Tada rajastamo bhavat kama lobhadayascha. As a mode of ignorance and passions are driven out, person comes out of it, then this calm and love and all these anarthas also will be gone. Just like a person who has habitual drinking, he thinks without this drink, wine, I cannot enjoy my happiness. Similarly, greed and lust are all like that. If I don't have greed and if I don't have envy towards others, what will be impetus for me to work hard? People think like this. Neighbors envy his owner's pride. They advertise like that. They cannot work without these anarthas. Just like a wine drunkard cannot work without drinking wine. These people cannot work without lust and greed and envy. And that they don't realize it. And that they consider as their impetus. If I don't have this, then what will remain in life? That is what their consciousness is. They cannot understand the person in mode of goodness and pure goodness actually relishing happiness of the heart. Brahma Saukyam, Panantam, continuous happiness. The nature of the soul is to be always happy. And then when you perform devotional service from that happy state, his happiness grows unlimitedly. Brahma Bhuta Prasanna Atma Nashochidana Kangshyati. Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhakti Labhate Param. From there your devotional service start. When you become Prasanna Atma. When your natural state of our existence is happy state, neutral state of Brahma Sukha, which is much higher than, according to the Taittiriya Upanishad, this Brahma Sukha, in comparison of all these pleasures. If you define Manushya Ananda, it defines Manushya Ananda. How Manushya Ananda is defined? If you are a king of the entire earth planet, having very cooperative ministers, very cooperative family members, no rivalry, unrivaled king of the whole earth planet, with ministers trustworthy and cooperating with you, not trying to pull you down. Then what experience you have, happiness called Manushya Ananda. It is material happiness, which cannot make you free from birth and death, but in that sense, no problem. Nobody is against me, I am peaceful, and I am a ruler of the whole planet. And then the Taittiriya Upanishad says, if you multiply that happiness by 100 times, then that is the happiness of the Manushya Gandharvas, those who are singers, like Gandharvas, and Manushyas. Something like Beatles. And the Beatles were singing, the President of America was afraid of their fame. They were more famous than everybody else. So they can be more enchanting than the rulers. Manushya Gandharvas are 100 times enjoying pleasures. Who is now there? Who enjoy? Who? Cold place. Okay. Cold place. But who is now ruler of the earth planet? Nobody is like that. What Yudhishthira Maharaj was enjoying, Parshil Maharaj was enjoying the pleasures. They are just simply trying to somehow squeeze it little bit. Their mind cannot think about this. Like Dr. Frog cannot think about the ocean. He can think only well. The Kali Yuga mind can only think about. Nobody can think about becoming the ruler of the whole world like Parshil Maharaj, Yudhishthira Maharaj. But they did not consider it as highest. They knew that Krishna consciousness is the highest. And then like that it goes on comparing. Manushya Gandharvas, 100 times of them is the Deva Gandharvas, 100 times of that is Devas, Devananda, Deva Gandharvananda, Devananda, Then Indra Ananda, 100 times of Devas is Indra Ananda, sitting on the Indra Asan, the king of the heaven, ruling the whole universe. That is called. But then higher than Indra is Prajapati Ananda. Those were Prajapatis. Is higher. From the administrative point, it may be lesser. But the Brahmanical point, they are higher. Then Brahma is also higher. Although the king is the Indra, but the whole the head of the universe is Brahma. Brahma sees so many Indras passing in one day. so Brahma is Brahmanical person more. Actually, in the Vedic culture also, the actual rulers are Brahmanas. They are not hankering for positions, but the kings actually used to consult with them, Vaishnavas and Brahmanas. So similarly, Brahma is the top actually of the universe. He creates the universe, right? But he is not the ruler. The ruler is Indra. So they like Prajapati Ananda 100 times, you multiply them, comes Brahma Ananda. So it's like something like 10 raised to something like 12 or like that. And then the Rupa Goswami says that this Brahmananda, but Taittiriya Upanishad doesn't speak about that Brahmananda. Rupa Goswami speaks in Nectar of Devotion. He says, if you multiply Brahmananda by 1 trillion times, how many times this is? 1 trillion times 10 raised to 12, right? Trillion is billion. 12? 10 raised to 12 times. Then that cannot be equal to the one drop of the ocean of pure devotional service happiness, he says. In the beginning of Nectar of Devotion, he says this comparison. Moksha Gota, Brahmananda, Sadharananda, some 6 characteristics speaks in that. So insignificant it is. Brahmananda will act very, very insignificant. Very difficult for us to conceive, but this is what the Taittiriya Upanishad talks about. Different stages of the things. Just like human form of life, you can see the pleasure of the hog eating the stool. You can see it's above animal. Although the hog is very happy doing that. Because we have got a higher sense of existence, we can see things differently. Similarly, those who are at higher level, they also, their pleasures are much higher than material pleasures. And Brahmananda is something like neutral, Brahmananda, where the soul experiences that feature of Sat, I am eternal. Satchidananda, that Sat exists, I don't die. You are free from bodily conception of life. That's a pleasure, I don't die. There is no fear of death. There is no experience of death also. So these different stages of pleasure, they are all material. Spiritual happiness is beyond that. The Srimati Radha Rani is that pleasure potency which is giving happiness to Krishna. You can understand what is that happiness. And we are just part and parcels of Krishna. And our devotion is also part and parcel of Radha Rani's devotion. But still, a living entity can experience unlimited happiness when we serve Krishna wholeheartedly. So this nature of living entity to give happiness to Krishna by service. Srimati Radharani is the medium, via medium. She accepts the services and offers to Krishna. So therefore all our acharyas will find we are servants of Srimati Radha. Their mood is to serve. By becoming servant of Srimati Radha. Gopi Bhartur Pada Kamalayora Dasa Dasa Amidas. So therefore such person who is experiencing that, the highest pleasure of this material world is very insignificant. Haridas Thakur, when he was chanting is what? We are calling out Hari, Radha Rani. Srimati Radha Rani, Krishna. Please kindly engage me in your service. When he was chanting, it is said that when once the prostitute came, another time the Maya Devi herself came. And it's mentioned in Chaitanya when the Maya Devi came, she was so beautiful that even Brahma would have been difficult for him to control his mind and senses. It's mentioned like that. When Brahma would have been bewildered by her beauty. Haridas Thakur is thinking, you are going to. He was feeling compassion. Because it's such happiness I am relishing in Krishna consciousness. Just like when the cockroach, she cockroach is enticing the male cockroach. You don't feel any by seeing that. So like that, Haridas Thakur also seeing that prostitute. You are coming and he was feeling compassion on her. Because he is relishing such a happiness in Krishna consciousness. He didn't feel anything about any attraction. It's not that aversion. Param dushtva nivartate, that getting the such happiness in Krishna consciousness, that happiness looks insignificant, rather troublesome. And therefore he was continuing going on chanting Hare Krishna. So much happy that transformed her life by his compassion. So those who are absorbed into this pleasure, serving the pleasure potency of the Lord, Srimati Radha Rani, Mahatmanastu Mam Partha, Daivim Prakrutim Ashrita. Those who are Mahatmas, they have taken shelter of this Daivi Prakruti, means Srimati Radha Rani. They are not enticed by the Maya. Daivim Prakruti Ashrita. It is Daivim Prakruti. All others in this world have taken Maya Ashrita. We have Maya Ashritas. We have taken shelter of Maya. Shukadeva Goswami says, Itham Satam Brahma Sukhan Bhutya. Those who are after Brahma Sukha, they see Krishna as a source of Brahma Sukha, Brahma Jyoti. The impersonal is saying Krishna ultimately as Brahma Jyoti. The Brahma Jyoti from Brahma Jyoti has appeared into form, whatever is that. But he is the source of Brahma Jyoti or Brahma Sukha. Itham Satam Brahma Sukhanubhutya Dasyam Gatanam Paradeva. Those who are servant, devotees, they understand this is my highest worshipable Lord. Paradevate. And those who are Mayashitas, Mayashitanam Naradarakena. They see Krishna as the ordinary human child. Sakam Bijurva Kutapunya Punja. How fortunate are these coward boys that they have obtained such a great fortune of being with Krishna playing. How much spiritual activity they must have performed. Heaps of heaps. Kutapunya Punja. Shukadeva Goswami is saying this. Same Krishna is seen by the ordinary people as Naradarakena, Maya Shatana. But those who are Daivi Prakruti Ashritaha, those who have taken shelter of Srimati Radha Rani, they are always protected from all these dangers of Maya. Actually, dangers protected, they are given the highest position of always relishing Krishna consciousness. And they don't feel attracted to this Maya. So we have to transfer from our shelter, we have taken this Maya Ashrita. And because of Maya Ashrita means we are dependent on this material body and then whatever Maya is offering us, or Maya agents are offering us. In Kali Yuga, those who are not devotees, they create so many things. Okay, I have created this big empire company. Come, join this. Meeting over. I have got great fortune of being in such and such multinational companies. So they are taking shelter of those things. See, one thing is that as long as body is there, I need some maintenance. You go there. But you understand very well, this is not the shelter. Shelter is holy name, Chaitanya Srimati Radha Rani, Krishna. How our minds are absorbed in those places or this place. That decides how we are taking shelter. So you have to transfer from that shelter to this shelter, Srimati Radha. When you sit down here, chant holy name, our mind should be absorbed in everything in connection to Krishna. In fact, Krishna says, when you perform your duties, that time also you should think about me. Tasma sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmaruddhachi. Right? Then only you can think about me at the time of death, he says. Tasmat means therefore, Arjuna, to think me at the time of death. Anta kaleshu mahavesh mukta kalevaram. That is how you can attain me. Therefore, and then in next sloka he says that whatever you think, that will attain. So therefore you should think about me always, while performing your material duties also. Tasma sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmarayodhacha. There you should remember Krishna while doing that. I am doing it for Krishna. What we do is, when we are chanting Krishna, then we remember those things. Ours is just reverse. And you think, sometimes people think, if I am thinking about Krishna during my activities, how will I do my activities? How you chant? That is the question. How you are chanting when you are thinking about your office work, your studies. That they don't question. But they say, if I am chanting, remembering Krishna while doing my work, how will I do my work? Krishna says, you will do it, better you will do it. Arjuna was thinking and fighting about Krishna. That's the art that we need to learn. Srimati Radharani, when he is doing everything, Gopis, Vrindavan, they are always thinking about Krishna. All their activities, whatever they are doing, just goes on in their minds. Krishna's thoughts. They are not doing for anything, anybody else. They are just doing to please Krishna. Because we are not able to do, we have to be fearful of, I have to do it for this person, that person, pleasure. Otherwise, I will lose his mercy. We get afraid of various people of this material world because we are not taking shelter of Krishna. When one takes shelter of Krishna, one becomes completely fearless. He has no fear. Abhaya Charanarjuna. So Daivim Prakriti Ashrita, one who takes shelter of Srimati Radharani, who is a divine mother. Just like a child, when he is in the lap of mother, he feels completely fearless. So similarly, one who takes shelter of Srimati Radharani, in true sense, then he becomes actually fearless. Prabhupada was like that. Alone, 70-year-old person going on Jalduta without any assistant, getting 2 heart attacks. Prabhupada had no fear. As his name is Abhaya Charanarjuna. He was like that. Very mission was clear. He would have returned back if he were fearful after that, right? He went ahead with the same situation, same state. After going there also, there is no assurance where he is going to stay. After 1 month. 1 month and he was even given. And that also this person, we never expected he will come. Because so many times father had recommended and nobody had come like that. So he was also surprised he came. So he was not prepared actually to host him. Because of Prabhupada's love and everything, they accepted him. Otherwise they were not prepared to host him in that sense. Prabhupada was fearless. Going into such place at the age of 70, without any success also. Later on, 1 year he was not practicing no success. And he had no fear. Fear is the product of forgetting Krishna. Bhayam Dityat, result of forgetting Krishna. Bhayam Dityat abhinivishyat. As soon as you turn your face away from Krishna, you become Krishna unconscious, immediately fear comes. And those who become actually Krishna conscious, Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhir, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, the first thing happens, person into knowledge, he becomes fearless. Abhayam Sattva Samchita. He is not allured by the Maya and he is not fearful also. Haridas Thakur was chanting in cave and there was one snake, very poisonous. So much poisonous that the whole the cave was having the poisonous fumes around. People were so afraid. Coming. They said, please kindly move some other place. I said, what is the problem? There is a poisonous snake. And the Thakur said, what is the problem? And they were living for a long time together. Problem is for us, for you the problem. We are afraid to come in this place. Then Haridas Thakur said, okay, for you. Then I can live some other place. Please stay and Sadar, please can come to you. As soon as he said this, I'll go to some other place, snake came out in front of everyone and left. And did not come back again. So first said, Paramatma in the heart, he directed the snakes to it. Now you quit. Haridas Thakur cannot quit the place. So the devotees have such fearlessness because they understand that Krishna is the ultimate controller. So this ashraya, shelter of Srimati Radha Rani gives one that fearlessness. Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakrutim ashrita. And what is his? Bhajanya ananya manaso. He always sings glories of Krishna. Ananya means without deviation to anybody else. Bhajanya ananya manaso jatva bhutadi. Understand, Krishna is the ultimate. He is always singing Krishna's glories. Prahlad Maharaj also. Nrsimhadev asked, please ask some benediction. I don't have problems. I am always singing your glories. Naivo dvije paraduratya vaitaranyas twadvirya gayana mahamruta magna chitta. I don't have any problems in my life. Because I am always chanting your glories. Sometimes people are afraid, Are, if you become devotee, so many troubles may come. This is Prahlad. Many people say like that. सुना है ऐसे भक्ति करने से ज़्यादा trouble आता है. I said, go and ask the devotees whether they are troubled. Why don't you ask the devotees? What Prahlad says, what Kunti says. Kunti says, give me more troubles. Prahlad says, I don't have any troubles. Naiva tujhe paraduratya vaitaranyas twadvirya gayana mahamruta. I am enjoying such a pleasure in singing your glories. These are Mahatmas. People don't have that much intelligence to go and ask them. They don't read Bhagavata. From distance only they say, oh, Prahlad had to suffer so much, Kunti had to suffer so much, Pandava had to suffer so much. But what is their experience? The experience is they are blissful, even in such troublesome situation. Parikshit Maharaj in the first canto only says, just Bhagavatam had just begun. Now he had just taken shelter. He said, I am feeling so happy. Let that snake bird comes and whatever he wants to do, I don't care for it. Right? First canto only says this. Such nice nectarian katha. I don't care for this snake bird. That is how devotee becomes fearless. And Srila Prabhupada had such fearlessness because he had taken shelter of Srimati Radha Rani completely. Srila Prabhupada told this once to the devotees. When Srila Prabhupada said that I am free from Maya. Maya cannot do anything to me. That's like some devotees were there and Prabhupada just out of affection he spoke like this. Not out of pride, out of affection to give the devotees confidence. Maya cannot touch me. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai devotees. And then another time when Srila Prabhupada was in another temple, after maybe few months or few days, Srila Prabhupada was intensely praying to Radha Krishna deities. Yes. And one devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, what you are praying? I was praying that Radha Rani, please protect me so that I do not fall down. I do not get trapped by the Maya. Please protect me always. How far you told that Maya cannot touch me? Now you are saying that please protect me here. Prabhupada said, yes, because I am constantly praying to Srimati Radha Rani, Maya cannot touch me. This is what a devotee is. He understands that by taking shelter of Srimati Radha Rani and Krishna, that only can protect me from Maya. So his confidence is not based on falsity. His confidence is Krishna will definitely protect me. Maya, Srimati Radha Rani will definitely protect me. Although I may have so many faults, shortcomings, if I did somehow that take their shelter. And Prabhupada said actually Srimati Radharani is very merciful. If you go to Krishna and take shelter, try to take shelter, Krishna knows our past. This person has said so many times. Track history and is not very good. And Krishna knows our many past lives. So Krishna really doesn't get so much confidence in us. This person, Srimati Radharani is very simple. Prabhupada said she is mother. As soon as somebody goes and little render service with sincerity, some sincerity, she says, Krishna is such a nice devotee. It's better than me. Then why don't we accept it? She says to Krishna, Krishna cannot deny it. And that's how the devotees intelligently approach Radha. Krishna is saying, she is recommending. Krishna cannot deny it. That's how Srimati Radharani. She doesn't see the past. She doesn't say anything. She just see what devotee enthusiasm is. Her heart is Karunamayi Kuru Karuna Parite. That's why in song we are singing that she is filled with that compassion so much that she doesn't see any faults. And she feels that this devotee is better than me. Although she is the best, nobody can give happiness to Krishna like her. No one can give like her. But her heart is so humble that she thinks that somebody is better than me. Karunamayi Kuru Karuna Bharite. She is filled with that mercy. And that's why Rupa Goswami is saying that please kindly be merciful, O Srimati Radharani. You are always glorified by the Sanak Sanatan. They are always chanting your glories. Sanaka Sanatana Varinita Charity. Great sages like Sanak Sanatan, they are always chanting your glories. Once Srimati Radharani and her Sakhis were traveling near Radha Kund. They were going and they saw one very painful voice, rather cry loud. One jackal was crying. Jackal, nobody wants to hear jackal's voice actually. Very, very troublesome. Huh? In our species also howling is not very pleasing to the ears, right? Oh, very not in our species also not very pleasing to the ears also. But Radharani's heart was filled with compassion by hearing that. Because it was painful. Somebody calling out in a great pain, agony. She immediately told her Sakhis, go and find out what has happened. Why she is crying, why that jackal is crying. So they went and they saw some boys. They had put a fire around the hole in which that she jackal had gone. So they were chasing her, boys, and out of fear she entered into the hole. And then to make further trouble to her, she put the fire on that. And because of that fire, she was burning inside and not able to come out of fire. She was howling and calling out with great pain. That attracted the mercy of Srimati Radharani. And then Sakhis, they went and they extinguished that fire, they drew out the boys and they took out that jackal. And Srimati Radharani came and she was, put her divine hand on it and cured her from all that pain. Our Acharya says that our situation in this material world also is like that. Samsara dava analavid loka. And we are burning in the fire of this material existence. Unfortunately, we don't see it. We think that this is the way the life is. Although we are day and night, our hearts are burning. Dissatisfaction, frustrations, all negativity is entering in Kali Yuga. Narottam Das Thakur says, Dibanishi hiya jole. Heart is burning day and night. So many hankerings, unfulfilled desires. But because of this intoxication Maya, we are just running. Okay, if I get that, I will achieve happiness, peace of mind. It's like exactly the deer running behind the mirage in the hot summer. Our situation is also like that. Samsara davanam, this Bhavad Mahadavagni is going on. And still, because of this, everybody is running, we don't have time to think about our own situation. Am I really happy? Why am I chasing after all these things? Only by the mercy of Srimati Radha Rani, when we take her shelter, call out. Spiritual life means become little peaceful and see situation. Take right shelter. Not that to remove this pain of the fire, again you put yourself in more fire. That's what people are doing. And they suffer more. If somebody understands and calls out, it's very difficult for me to come out of it on my own strength. Materialism is very, very horrible. By my own strength, I cannot. Then you can take really shelter of Srimati Radha and Krishna. Please protect me. And taking shelter of Radharani means taking shelter of holy name as our Acharyas are saying. Hare. Hare means Radhe. Hara, she is Radha Rani. One of the name of Radha Rani is Hara. And Hare means Radhe. Radhe Krishna. Radhe means you are calling out her. This is a Sambodhan. Somebody you call. You are called Radha, you say Radhe. Krishna becomes Krishna only, but Radha becomes Radhe. You are calling out. Why you are calling out? Purpose is requesting her, please engage in your service. This is the mood of chanting. As a proper translate this Hare Krishna Mahamantra as O Srimati Radha Rani, O all attractive Krishna, O reservoir of all pleasure Rama, please kindly engage me in your service. No Sanskrit scholar will appreciate this translation. But they are foolish, they don't understand. When the child is crying, Mama, only mother can understand it much more than what is saying. The scholar will say, child said Mama. That's all. Translation will be like that. But the mother understands that he is in great need. He is calling out my help. He doesn't have to say, please come and help me. Mother, please come and help me. Yes, Mama. Sufficient. So that's why the spiritual subject matter cannot be understood by academic scholarship. You need acharyas. You need the guru for that. To make us understand what is the actual meaning, what Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, what the Bhagavatam is saying, what this Hare Krishna mantra is talking about. Mayavaris chant also this mantra, they cannot understand the spirit behind this mantra. You are asking for a service. Mayavaris a chant to become God. When the service consciousness is not there, what benefit they will get? That's why Sampradaya vihina mantra te nisphala mata. And without proper sampradaya, if you take mantra, that becomes nisphala. And what Mayavadi chant on their own sometimes Hare Krishna mantra. But because they don't have proper mood given by the devotees of the Lord, they don't get benefited by that chanting. Hare Krishna. sometimes they use this to attract the devotees to their camp. So that they can spoil their consciousness. So we should not be carried away by such people. Devotees, we should see how they are devotees. Then their chanting that is auspicious to hear. Namakshara hai, naam nahi hai. Thakur said that Namakshara is there, but they are not chanting the holy name. So they are not having that real devotional mood in their hearts. So this Hare Krishna mantra is this Radha Rani's name is there. Nowadays they have talk going on. We should chant Radha's name better than Krishna's name. Actually, it's there in the Hare Krishna mantra. If that was the case, Mahaprabhu would have told us to chant. Something in Kali Yuga, people invent something new. This is Prabhupada said, the material mind always wants something new. Because in our organization also sometimes people, new in charges put, he breaks old thing and makes new. Iktu nutan kichu kara jai. Bengali they say, iktu nutan kichu karo. Iktu nutan kichu karo. Prabhupada is quoting this. People want something new. Hare Krishna mantra has become old now. Radhe Rani. Chant Radhe Radhe. That is more powerful than this Hare Krishna. If it is more powerful, Mahaprabhu is Radha Krishna himself. He would have told it. Even it's more powerful, whatever is this, he could have told us to do it. His name is already there in Hare Krishna mantra. So whatever the Acharyas have told us, Mahajana Yena Gathasa Pantha. If you just follow their footsteps and don't try to get diverted into something new. Hare Krishna mantra is everything is there. All the Upanishads, all the Puranas are talking about it. You chant this mantra. So, Navanavayaman experience. You get newer and newer experiences by chanting it sincere. Yamanacharya says that when I chant, when I am performing this devotional service, Navanavaras down. I am getting experience of new things every day. Not searching out new things. Performing this bhakti, simple process with sincerity, one will get always reciprocation of Krishna and newer experiences. And if you are not doing this chanting properly, then I am now bored, Hare Krishna, I want something else to chant. So that's why such kind of thing will come always in this Kali Yuga. We have to stick what our acharyas have told. Srila Prabhupada has told and stick to those things. And it's not Radharani's name is not it is, but what our acharyas have told, that we need to stick to those things. Our consciousness is to see this materially. Now this is boring and we want some, after some time Radha and then something else. In those times also somebody chanted this Nitai Gaur Radhesham instead of Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur was very strong against this. It is Krishna's name, but why you are replacing with Hare Krishna Mahaprabhu? Mahaprabhu has told. Mahaprabhu didn't told Nitai Gaur Radhesham to chant. Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. So they replace Hare Krishna mantra with this. And they are more smart than Mahaprabhu like that. So we need to be careful about all this distraction in Kali Yuga and stick to what our acharyas have. Prabhupada said, I have given you everything. You don't have to look anywhere else. Whatever you need to go back to Golak Vrindavan, everything is there in my books. We need to understand by submissive service and sincere our sadhana in the association of devotees. And then we can receive mercy of Srila Prabhupada and our acharyas and Srimati Radha Rani. That is our mode of our sampradaya. Servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. Gopi Bhartur Pada Kamala Yura Dasa Dasa Anudas. Srila Prabhupada's father, Prabhupada said he was a pure devotee. He used to serve sadhus every day. Bring them to home, at least 4 or 5 sadhus every day. Feed them prasadam. And then give them some dhan. And then used to ask, please bless that my son becomes a devotee of Srimati Radha. He used to humbly pray. To ask. Prabhupada is already, but still he was, as a father he used to ask him, please bless my son. He becomes a devotee of Srimati Radha. So this is the mood of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, that we want to become servant of Radha Rani, not only servant of Radha Rani, servant of the servant of the servant of Radha Rani. That is a mood which is very pleasing to Krishna and Radha Rani. Rather than jumping, going up. The mood is to always go to the great devotees, Vaishnavas, approaching the Lord and serving them. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare. Any questions? Huh? No, nothing. But anything else? Any questions? Our nature is to serve. We are also part and parcel of Krishna. So Krishna has expanded into Srimati Radharani to give him the happiness. Allah is. Krishna only expands himself. In fact, he has expanded into us also, but we are given anshas. We are minute, tiny. Srimati Radharani is direct expansion. Allah is the potency. Whatever the devotion we have, it is part and parcel of Srimati Radharani's devotion. Our nature is to serve. While Krishna is a person who accepts like the root of all the services, he is root of everything. Just like the root of a tree, he accepts all the water and it supplies. No matter how big tree is there, but root is there. So like that, the Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. So Srimati Radharani is supreme enjoyed. That means she serves. Her mood is that to just serve. She never thinks about her own pleasure. And in that process, she derives the highest pleasure. Even Krishna sees that she is enjoying more than me. But she never thinks about enjoyment, her own enjoyment. Her constant thought is how I can please Krishna. So therefore, when Krishna sees that looks like she is enjoying more happiness than me, he wants to come as a devotee to understand how the Srimati Radharani is enjoying. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is the purpose of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one of the appearance purposes. So, in our case, what is our nature is to serve. Like Radharani is serving, we are also her assistant. And whatever devotion we have is part and parcel of Srimati Radharani. She has tremendous capacity to serve Krishna. Whatever capacity we have, we serve. So we can experience fullness by offering whatever we have to Krishna in full. And if we are not the enjoyer, Krishna is the enjoyer, supreme enjoyer, root of everything. We can enjoy by rendering service. Here in this material world, everybody wants to enjoy. Everybody wants to become supreme. You can see the whole competition is they want to climb higher and higher and higher, and ultimately reach to become God. The whole material world is that competition. That's why that's against nature, our nature, because we are tiny living entities. We can have some control if required for some service, but that controllership and enjoying mentality to go on increasing that, it is actually that is a real trouble. Why we are suffering in this material. devotee understand that my nature is to render service. And Ekale Ishwara Krishna Arsa Vibhutya. Chaitanya says that only the controller is Krishna, who has no controller over him. Rest, every controller in this world has somebody above control. That means we are not really Ishwaras or Parameshwara. But everybody is trying to get superior control and superior control. Go top and top and top. And ultimately compete with Krishna. And that's why demons, when Krishna comes, also they don't appreciate Krishna. Because they think compete with Krishna. So this giving up this controllership mentality, competitive, then we can actually understand this tattvas very clearly. As long as we have this competitive mentality, or becoming controllership mentality. Gita says also that Bhumte Prakriti Jar Guna, Purusha Prakriti Stoi, everybody is trying to control this Prakriti for his own enjoyment. Karanam Guna Sangasya Aswati. We are wandering in different species because of this mentality. So, if we understand that we are servants, even though we are put in a controlling position, sometimes whatever positions, everybody has been given. But without that hankering to become further bigger controller, we should be in the mood of service. And then we can really understand the spiritual realm. Otherwise, it's very difficult to come out of this material world. As long as we have this mentality, Maya just keeps us under her grip. So Krishna, being the supreme controller, supreme enjoyer, he expand himself into Radha Rani to give him that happiness. But he doesn't want to enjoy any happiness by exploiting anyone. But having such a mentality to become bigger controller, the living in it is always try to exploit others. You can see that. Krishna, he loves everyone and he serves everyone, actually. And in the process of loving reciprocation, he accepts the service rendered by love. That's how he enjoys. Not that he somehow other forces people to serve him. If somebody doesn't want to serve, then you serve somebody else. Krishna says. And that's why in this world everybody is serving somebody else. Somebody else. That's the nature of the soul. So Krishna doesn't want these services unless they are rendered with love. Maya means what? Those who don't want to serve Krishna, they are put under Maya. Their nature is to serve. So they are serving Maya. But the result of their serving Maya is what? Frustrations. Nature is to serve, but the living entities who don't want to serve, want to be served, controller, top, they are put under Maya. Here they are forced to serve. Actually nobody wants to serve, Krishna says. In this material world, nobody wants to serve from the heart. But the nature is to serve. So they are forced to serve by Maya in the name of some allurements. You do like this, you will get this. And then faithfully they are forced to serve. Or if you don't do this, then this will happen. Either fear or some allurements. Krishna consciousness means happily, voluntarily serve. Purposely, everybody should have some service, and that service should be rendered with love. That is Krishna consciousness. Not out of just fear or get something out of it. But this nature of material consciousness is such a thing that even after coming to Krishna consciousness, we try to encash everything. Okay, I will do this service so that others will be, I am such a great devotee. Or I will get this position. So encashing. Encashing everything. And that's why we don't experience Krishna consciousness and happiness. Anytime you render service without anything, a small service person can get liberated from it. Let's see examples of this buttermilk seller or the fruit vendor. Buttermilk seller, Mahaprabhu drank all the buttermilk and said, money? I don't have money.
said, you can take it from my associates. Then associates came. Later on, Mahaprabhu went ahead. The boy asked, he said, we don't have so money. We don't have money. Because when we were starting that, he told us, depend on Krishna. And he forgot probably. So the boy just laughed. He didn't become angry. He just smiled and he said, no problem. You tell him that I was happy to just serve him. I don't need any money. No need to worry. Just inform him this message. That means he wanted money, he wanted something written back, but when he saw the whole dealings, his heart was so transformed. And he didn't want to do anything back. He just wanted to serve. Although that was the only income of the day. Everything Mahaprabhu drank miserably. But he was so happy to serve. So if that consciousness is there, Mahaprabhu gave him Krishna Prema for that. Because he gave so much gold to him, like he gave to this fruit vendor. The whole that pot was filled with gold and jewelries, all other diamonds. And when boy saw that, he was not enchanted by that. He dropped everything that he ran towards Mahaprabhu. He took shelter of Mahaprabhu. He was not fascinated by that. And therefore Mahaprabhu gave him love of God immediately. Just for that simple service. So, as soon as we render service to Krishna with enthusiasm and without anything wanting back, immediately one can be promoted at a very high stage. But our mind is so tricky. You want to encash everything. I did selfless service. Nobody is recognizing it. Why somebody, if you eat a nice feast, why somebody has to recognize? Why would you go and ask somebody, oh, did I eat the feast nicely? Similarly, Prabhupada says, if you are really render service, you will feel satisfied, happy. That's the nature of devotion. But we are accustomed in this material world for so long that anything we do, we are always thinking, what will I get out of it? Very difficult. It will take some time to go away from that concept. Because sadhana bhakti is important. Sadhana bhakti is you go on doing service every time, you pray to Krishna before service, after service, ask forgiveness, try to remove the selfishness. Chanting holy name is good. Ask his kindness, Srimati Radha, everything will praying. They don't need our service. We need to serve them. But when they see that we are serving so nicely, without any motivations, Krishna accepts our service out of love. Even though it may be most insignificant thing. That becomes very, very important for Lord. That simple service also is putting one grains of sand by that squirrel was so important for Lord Ram and so pleasing for Lord Ram's heart. Because it was rendered with love, without any motivations. So in this material world, it is very difficult to find such person serving like that. Complete selflessness. And if somebody has really served like that, that pleasure is that it will become intoxicating. That's the nature of devotional service. If we actually have served even once like that, you will want it more. Just like we have this story of lila, Nama Alvar, Tirumangai Alvar. He was told to serve Vaishnavas by a lady whom he wanted to marry. That you have to serve Vaishnavas, you have to become Vaishnavas. You have to become Vaishnava, that means you have to serve Vaishnavas. First, you become Vaishnava, you can feel that I am devoted. Not that kind of Vaishnava means you like to serve Vaishnava. And what I will do is serve peace to all the Vaishnavas. So, to earn money by robbing people and whatever is that. So, utilize that money for arranging a feast for 100 Vaishnavas. You have to personally serve them. When he rendered that service, it was such happiness of his heart. He said, bring more devotees. I want to serve. And bring more and more and more, and he forgot his all other activities till the time his treasury got over. And he forgot that girl also, whom she had approached for marriage. And when the treasury got over, then he realized money is not there, let me go for stealing again. But now his consciousness was so that I can serve. Because he knew only that. That time it was not having any malicious intent. His intent was to serve Krishna. And because of that, what happened was, he was waiting for, nobody came on that his strategic point in the forest to steal somebody's money. And then finally, who came was very wealthy person, having so many carts filled with looks like jewelry boxes and everything, with his wife. I saw it. Now I don't have to further steal. So much wealth is there. So he went and stopped him. And that person was fearless, very satisfied. How is not becoming fearful? A surprise. Then what do you want? I want all these things. Then, okay, you can take all these things, but I have one condition. What is condition? I said, you can take out a ring of my wife's feet. If you can take out this ring, then all this wealth is yours, he said. I said, so easy. He sat down and started pulling. It's not coming out. So much force pulling. With his teeth, he's trying to break it. Nothing happened. And he was completely exhausted, tired. And then he looked up and he saw Lakshmi Narayan smiling at him. And then he fainted out of love. Because he relished that service so much, even that stealing tendency was whatever he was there or wanted, that became transformed into such a loving service. And that is what devotional service is. It's intoxicating in that sense. So we have to wait for that when that becomes intoxicating like us. That's why we have to go through sadhana bhakti. Hoping, praying that one day I also become. Kabe habe bolo se dina amara. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that. Aparade ruchi, shuddha name ruchi, kripa bole habe. Kya kripa bole habe? Hridaya sanchar. My heart is filled with that devotional service. All these examples, they are special devotees, Kripa-siddhas. They got it because of their, some other they chose like that. The mercy of the Lord. But that is, we should derive inspiration from all these examples of devotees who have been. Dhruva Maharaj went to the Lord with material desires. And when he was transformed, the Lord asked him, what do you want? He said, no, I don't want anything. And you did so much tapasya, such hard tapasya. What will people think? Lord was this. People will think it's इतना तपस्या करने का भी कुछ मिला नहीं. So he said, I don't want anything. Swami Krutarthosmi varam na yache. And I am so satisfied, my Lord, I don't want anything. Sthana bilashita tapasithitoham tam praptavan deva munindra guhyam. What is difficult to even the great devatas and rishis to attain, for them also it's very difficult. I got it by mercy of Narad Muni. Just in 6 months. And my experience is that whatever I wanted earlier, bigger position than the Brahma's position, Kachan Vichinnaman, that is like a broken piece of glass. Lord is asking him, you wanted Brahma's bigger position, Brahma's position, I can give you everything. I don't want anything now. After seeing a diamond, getting a diamond, seeing your darshan, you are like a diamond. Why will I want those broken pieces of glass? It looks very attractive, shining for children, but if you get it, it will cut. That is the nature of these material positions in this world. After getting a diamond like you, Swami Krutarthosmi, I am satisfied. I don't need anything else. That is devotional service. Prabhupada says, Viraktir Anyatra. Just like you eat nice feast, hunger is gone. If you are actually getting devotional service to Krishna, then all your material desires, no more hankerings. Na shochire na kamshati. No, Krishna says that. Yam labdva cha param labham manyate na adhikam tata. If anybody gets this, you understand, there is nothing beyond this. And then Krishna says, what is the proof? Proof is that you put him in greatest difficulties. Still he is not affected. This is the proof. That's why Krishna sometimes puts all his devotees in great difficulty to show us. Here is a devotee. See. Narayana Parasarvena Kutaschana Bibbeti. You put him in a situation, he doesn't care for it. Because his happiness is never taken away by anything of this material world. So we no need to have something else. Whatever we have, our nature to serve as a spirit soul. Jivera Sarupa Hare Krishna Nitya Das. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that Jiva Krishna Das E Vishwas Korle Ar Dukkha Nai. If you are convinced that you are a servant of Krishna, not servant of anybody else in this world. Jiva Krishna Das E Vishwas. If you have got that faith, Korle Ar Dukkha Nai. There is no misery in your life. But if you are not convinced about it, to that degree, troublesome situations will be there in our lives. One can become free from all the miseries. Krishna assures, our acharyas are assuring, and they are showing by their examples. Prabhupada is showing an example. Such a miserable state in Jalduta, seasickness, heart attacks, and Prabhupada is not affected by it. No fear. Sometimes people say, Prahlad Pataya, whether it existed or not. Prabhupada, we have Prabhupada interest. Undergoing to all these tribulations and fearless going Senapati, so Mahaprabhu's commander-in-chief in Mahaprabhu's army, transforming so many people's heart. Such example will be in front of us. And so many devotees, Prabhupada also, empowered them. Those are there in front of us. So we need not, material world means we are trying to hanker something else than what we have already with us. The treasure is with us. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhya Padune. It's there in our heart. Then we just have to revive back. And as soon as one is reviving back that, one is satisfied, content, not stagnant, with enthusiasm to do some service to Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. You are, as far as your own life is concerned, you are satisfied, happy. You are not hankering for anything else. And there is a strong hankering to please Krishna. I should do something for Krishna. Prabhupada said, if you really chanted your rounds nicely, if you chanted nicely, immediately you will feel, I should do something for Krishna. You will be enthused. Krishna is so nice. Let me do something for pleasing him. Because in throughout chanting, you are asking, give me some service, give me service. So if you have chanted really nicely with that service attitude, Krishna will say, yes, do something for me. And then you feel enthused. Yes, Krishna is wanting me to do something. And then when you do something, you reciprocation of Krishna, you feel more happy. That's how it is. And Krishna's consciousness also, his supreme enjoyment lies to serve devotees. In Vrindavan, I find likes to serve Yashoda Mai, taking shoes of Nanda Maharaj on his head and driving chariot of Arjuna. At his position as a root, he accepts all the services, but his mood is to render service. Krishna's mood also is that. Supreme enjoyer, but he is a serve Vaishnavas. Mahaprabhu would serve as a devotee. All the Vaishnavas will make them, elderly Vaishnavas make them bath in the Ganga and fold their clothes. So many things will arrange in the servant. So that is the nature of devotional service. And it's selfless service that brings devotee on the service to Krishna on such a platform that devotee doesn't want to leave that for any cost. Such a devotee has only fear that I should not forget Krishna. I should not go away from Krishna. And the highest platform Srimati Radha Rani is even Krishna doesn't reciprocate, he neglects me. He breaks my heart. Ashlishava padaratam vinashtamam. Still I will not stop serving him. And that is the last thing. Whether you give me the happiness in return or not, or you reciprocate or not, you neglect me, still you are my worshipable Lord. Always. This is actually Radha Rani's slogan. What Mahaprabhu is saying in the end is the mode of Srimati Radha Rani. I don't care for my happiness. Because rendering service to Krishna is such an experience that even if that Krishna behaves like that, she has no problem. His gopis, Krishna leaving Vrindavan was breaking heart of gopis. Srimati Radha is the topmost gopi. The rest of their life they were in that broken state of their heart. But they always thinking about Krishna. Always wanting to serve. Because Krishna doesn't break heart to give pain, but Krishna breaks the hearts to increase that longing for Krishna and service for Krishna and separation from Krishna, which is more happiness giving to the devotees. That's how it works. For us, difficult to understand at our stage, but this is what Vrindavan is. Vrindavan, they don't have any demands for their own. Only selfless service. If we also, in our whatever capacity we are trying to practice it, it is satisfying to the heart. Even if endeavors to be satisfied, but Maya steals away our consciousness. She will what will you get out of it? Spoil the whole service. Sometimes, okay, I will not get this, but I will get fame. I will put on the Facebook. Whatever this. People want to advertise themselves. Selfies and Facebooks and we may get some cheap adorations, but then we are losing the essence. When you are rendering service without any material desires, without return, helpless service. And even if you are rendering that, at least you recognize and ask forgiveness. That is also good. But you think this is devotional service to advertise and you enjoy that, and then you are missing the point. And you are cheated by money. You think this is advancement in spiritual path. This is how I enjoy it. At least you feel sorry for it. then there is some hope to get actual things. So that's the nature of devotional service. If you really are trying, endeavoring, when you see my consciousness has leaked for some selfish purpose, you go and pray, my dear Lord, please kindly forgive. Bhakti hinam, kriya hinam. I did it, but I not so much pure consciousness. Like that you fall at feet. Then also you experience divine happiness. But just by saying that. But if you think, it is nice to enjoy this pleasure of worldly pleasures of advertising myself or to get some facilities or to get some sense gratification. This is the result of devotional service. When they get it, but it is not satisfying to the heart. We are cheated by the mind. Hari Srimati Radha Rani ki Radha Ashtami Mahamotsav ki jai. Anybody can sing this Radhika Ashtakam, Radhika Stav. No, Radhika Stav is this. Radha Radhika. You know how to sing? You can sing.
Hare Krishna. Kumkuma. कुङ्कुमाप्तकञ्चनाब्जगर्वहारि गौरभा पीतनाञ्चिताब्जगन्धकीर्तिनिन्दिसौरभा कञ्चनाब्जगर्वहारि गौरभा पीतनाञ्चिताब्जगन्धकीर्तिनिन्दिसौरभा बालवेश सूनु सर्ववाञ्छितार्थ साधिका माय्यमात्मपाद पद्मदास्य दास्तु राधिका वाञ्छितार्थ साधिका माय्यमात्मपाद पद्मदास्य दास्तु राधिका गौरविन्दकान्तिनिन्दिचित्रपट्टशातिका कृष्णमित्रभृङ्गकेलिपुल्लपुष्पवाटिका चित्रपट्टशातिका कृष्णमत्रभृङ्गकेलिपुल्लपुष्पवाटिका कृष्णनित्यसङ्गमार्थ पद्मबन्धुराधिका मह्यमात्मपादपद्मदास्य दास्तु राधिका पल्लवाली कीर्ति निग्रहा चन्द्रचन्दनोत्पलेन्दु सेव्य शीत विग्रहा वाली कीर्ति निग्रहा चन्द्रचन्दनोत्पलेन्दु सेव्य शीत स्वाभिमाश वल्लवीश कामताप बाधिका मह्यमात्मपाद पद्मदास्य दास्तु राधिका वेश कामताप बाधिका मह्यमात्मपाद पद्मदास्य दास्तु राधिका विश्ववन्द्य यौवताभिवन्दिता पियारमा उपनव्य यौवनादि सम्पदानयत्रमा रूपनव्य यौवनादि सम्पदालीलया च सायतोऽस्ति नाधिका मह्यमात्मपादपद्मदास्य दास्तु राधिका गीतनर्मशत्कराडि पंडिता प्रेम रम्य रूपवेश षड्गुणालि मंडिता विश्वनव्य गौपयोषिदाळतोऽपियाधिका मह्यमात्मपाद पद्मदास्य दास्तु राधिका मह्यमात्मपाद पद्मदास्य दास्तु राधिका नित्यनव्य रूपकेलि कृष्ण भाव संपदा कृष्ण राग बंध गोपयोवतेषु कंपदा कृष्ण राग बंध गोपयो पादपद्म दास्य दास्तु राधिका श्वेदकम्बकण्टकाशु गद्गदादिसञ्चिता हर्षवामतादिभावभूषणं चिता कृष्णनेत्रकोशिरत्नमण्डनाडिदाधिका मह्यमात्मपादपद्म दास्य दास्तु राधिका कृष्णविप्रयोगसंसुधीतये दैन्यचापडादिभावविन्दतोदिता याशणाद कृष्णविप्रयोगसंसुधीतिने दैन्यचापडादिभावविन्दतोदिता यत्नलब्ध कृष्णसङ्गनिर्गताखिलाधिका मह्यमात्मपादपद्म दास्य दास्तु राधिका अष्टकेन यस्तवनेन नौति कृष्णवल्लभां दर्शनापि शैलजादि औषितालिदुर्लभाम् नौति कृष्णवल्लभां दर्शनेऽपि शैलजादि औषितालिदुर्लभम् कृष्णसङ्गनन्दितात्मदास्य सीदुभाजनं किं करोति नन्दिताडि सञ्चयासु साजनम् मय्यमत्मपादपद्मदास्य दास्तु राधिका मय्यमत्मपादपद्मदास्य दास्तु राधिका कुङ्कुमप्रकञ्चनप्रगर्वहारि गौरभा पीतनान्दिताब्जगन्धकीर्तिनिन्दिसौरभा पीतनान्दिताब्जगन्धकीर्तिनिन्दिसौरभा बालवेशसूनु सर्ववाञ्छितार्थसाधिका मह्यमात्मपादपद्मदास्य दास्तु राधिका गौरविन्दकान्तिनिन्दिचित्रपट्टशातिका कृष्णमत्तभृङ्गकेळि फुल्लपुष्पवाटिका कृष्णमत्तभृङ्गकेळि फुल्लपुष्पवाटिका कृष्णनित्यसङ्गमप्रकाशपञ्चुराधिका मह्यमात्मपादपद्मदास्य विश्वनव्य गोपयोषि दालोतोऽपि अधिका मह्यमात्मपादपद्मतस्कदस्तु राधिका मय्यमात्मपादपद्मतस्कदस्तु राधिका वेदकम्पकण्टकशुगद्गदादिसञ्चिता वामतादिभावभूषणाञ्चिता राधिका मह्यमात्मपादपद्मतस्कदस्तु राधिका यशनार्थ कृष्ण विप्रयोगसन्तोषिगाने कथेन्यथा प्रहलादिभाववृन्दसोहिता यशनार्थ कृष्ण विप्रयोगसन्तोषिके केन्यथा प्रहलादिभाववृन्दसोहिता यत्नलब्ध मय्यमात्मपादपद्मतस्कदस्तु राधिका
Translation of the first verse. Her splendorous golden complexion steals the pride of a golden lotus flower, anointed with a ting of red kumkum. Her sweet fragrance mocks the frames of the aroma of a lotus flower sprinkled with saffron powder. She is fully qualified to fulfill all the desires of the son of the king of the cowherdmen. May Sri Radhika bestow upon me the service of her own lotus feet.
Her amazing and colorful silken garments make the splendor of the red coral feel ashamed. She is a garden of blossoming flowers where the maddened bumblebee named Krishna performs amorous pastimes. She worships the sun god daily in order to attain the continual association of her beloved Krishna. May Sri Radhika bestow upon me the service of her own lotus feet.
Her charming youthful delicacy negates the fame of the freshly sprouted leaves. Her refreshing form is worthy of being served by the cooling moon, sandalwood paste, lotus flowers and camphor. When she touches the master of the gopis, she dispels the burning heat of his lusty desires. May Sri Radhika bestow upon me the service of her own lotus feet.
Although the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi, is adored by other youthful goddesses who are themselves glorified throughout the universe, still she is nowhere near Sri Radhika in the matter of beauty, praiseworthy youthfulness, or other divine feminine opulences. There is no one in the material or the spiritual world superior to Radhika in the expression of naturally loving pastimes. May Sri Radhika bestow upon me the service of her own lotus feet.
She is very learned in many transcendental arts, such as performing in the rasa dance, singing and joking. She is decorated with many divine qualities, such as loving nature, exquisite beauty and wonderful garments and ornaments. Even among the cowherd damsels of Praja, who are praised by the entire universe, she is the best in every way. May Sri Radhika bestow upon me the service of her own lotus feet.
Youthful beauty, eternal pastimes, and eternal love for Krishna. Her ecstatic feelings of love for Krishna cause the gopis, who are also in love with Krishna, to tremble. She is always attached to meditating on Sri Krishna's beautiful form, ornaments, garments, and pastimes. May Sri Radhika bestow upon me the service of her own lotus feet.
She is graced with 8 ecstatic symptoms, Chaturya Bhav, such as trembling, perspiring, standing up on the bodily hairs, tears, faltering of the voice, and so forth. She is adorned with different ecstatic emotional ornaments such as impatience, joy, contentness, and so forth. She is decorated with beautiful jewels that give total delight to the eyes of Krishna. May Sri Radhika bestow upon me the service of her own lotus feet.
If she is apart from Krishna for even half of a moment, she becomes stricken with rage, suffering, restlessness, and a multitude of other ecstatic symptoms of separation. When she regains the association of Krishna after some effort, then all of her anguish immediately vanishes. May Sri Radhika bestow upon me the service of her own lotus.
It is very difficult for Parvati and other exalted goddesses to attain even a glimpse of Srimati Radha Rani, who is dear to Lord Krishna. But if someone glorifies her by reciting these 8 verses, then she, who is delighted by Krishna's continuous association, will grant the sweet nectar of her personal service to that person, who thereby enters the assembly of her similarly delighted girlfriends.
बंद करने के